Happy Monday, Bleach Report gang. We are back with another Monday morning quarterback show. I'm your host, Kurt Benkert, and we have a lot of ball to talk about today. We've got Jalen Hurts, near perfect. May have ended the game perfect. Got to have somebody confirm that. Drake Maye, almost perfect, maybe perfect. Colts rolling. Broncos, crazy fourth quarter comeback, down 19-0. 33 points in the fourth quarter to win the game. First time, I believe, ever we've seen that happen. We have a lot of madness around the NFL, but we're going to start at the top for you guys because we have trade deadlines coming up. Now, in a few weeks, we'll have a trade deadline show, just knocking down all the things that are happening around the league, the guys that are be moving at the last minute. You know how the trade deadline goes. It's pretty crazy. At least the past few years, there's been a lot of movement. Teams loading up, teams dishing out. But there's two guys on my list right now that are interesting prospects for landing spots. One being Alvin Kamara. Now, Alvin Kamara, and then we can talk about Andrews too, but Alvin Kamara is an interesting spot because we know that he doesn't want to leave New Orleans. He's a lifer. He's a Saint for life. But there's some teams that could use his services and would be better football teams with him. And I want to talk about three of them because I think the Chargers have some problems right now, especially in the running back room. I think the Chiefs, although they're rolling, he would be the best running back on their roster if they got him as well. And that would just get them over the top even more in a division that really needs somebody to take the lead. The Chiefs are still not first in the division. I believe the Broncos are for now. The Chargers are 2, Chiefs are 3. We've got some AFC West madness. And then the Texans. I think the Texans need a little bit of pass catching help from the running back position, more of an every down back, where Chubb is a good ground and pound guy, but he's not really their whole offense. It can't be. Cannot run through him. I think Alvin Kamara would bolster up these three teams that, and again, when you look at it, trade deadlines are typically teams that are going to be looking for improving their chances in the playoffs. All three of these teams have a chance. The Saints, they don't have a chance. They could get maybe a decent bit of return for Alvin Kamara. He's a little bit later in his career, obviously, but I do like these three landing spots for Alvin Kamara, and I would not be shocked to see him go to one of these three places. But he did say that if he's going anywhere in a trade, he's going to go drink pina colada somewhere. Depends on how you pronounce it. Depends on where you're from. But he does not want to leave New Orleans. And if he does leave New Orleans, he's going to have to go somewhere that maybe he doesn't want to be. I don't know. But I do know that he's a competitor. And I'd imagine that he would like to win football games. So if he gets traded to a spot that's got a playoff push, I think he'd be all right. But we do have to talk about Mark Andrews. Now, the Ravens, let me fact check myself real quick. The Ravens, after a little bye week, will be sitting at 1-5. And they do play the Chicago Bears in Baltimore next Sunday. 1-5 is a little sketchy. It's actually very sketchy. The chances of making the playoffs, no matter how good your team is at 1-5, is not great. And if you don't have Lamar Jackson for an extended period of time, or you miss any more guys, or if Lamar comes back and he just can't get you over the hump because your defense is depleted, I don't know, man. I don't know. It doesn't look great, and I think that Mark Andrews could have a few potential landing spots. One being the Bucs to reunite with his former college quarterback, Baker Mayfield. We know that the Bucs like to sling the ball around. We know that Mark Andrews still has some juice left in the tank, and I think that his play style matches up well with what Baker Mayfield does. I know they have Cade Otton, but they don't use him a whole lot. And down the stretch, I could see Mark Andrews being a guy that the Ravens might want to dish out. The Bucs would like to improve their pass game a little bit. They have a lot of injuries. They're always shuffling guys around. And why not reunite Baker Mayfield with one of his former teammates who will be more on the last leg of his career? And the Ravens, too, we do know that they like Isaiah Likely. So it's not like this isn't a just crazy off-the-wall idea. And Mark Andrews really might be on the move. Another one, potentially the Chargers. Now, the Chargers have injuries all over the place, and they don't really have a super dynamic tight end room. I know they have Gadsden who's starting to come into his own a little bit, but maybe, just maybe, Mark Andrews could help get them over the hump a little bit. They are a team that likes to use two tight ends as well, and he would fit well with what the Chargers do. But this year, 27 targets, 21 receptions, 174 yards, 2 touchdowns, like not bad, but I don't know. We could see him on the move. And last but not least, wouldn't be shocked to see Mark Andrews go to the Patriots. I know that the Patriots have had decent production from their tight ends in the past little stretch here, but when you're looking for a guy like Mark Andrews to end up somewhere, it's got to be a place that feels like they can get better at the position and maybe even more deep at the position to make a playoff push. And the Patriots are primed for that. And we will be talking about Drake Maye because we've got to talk about Drake freaking Maye, because I was wrong in my draft. I was wrong in my draft analysis of Drake Maye. Maybe not entirely wrong. No, I was pretty wrong. I didn't think that he'd be as good as he is today this quick. He has gotten so much better. He has improved tremendously with taking care of the football. He's accurate, but also guys are getting wide open for him and making plays. Whatever's happening in New England right now is really good. And we don't know, like, we've got to see a full season of work. They've got some tougher opponents on the way, but with what has been put in front of them, they have been showing up time and time again. And Drake Maye has just been dialing it up. And you can see Austin Hooper go up and over the top there. They're not even just playing perfect. They're winning with timing. They're winning with ballers making plays. And Drake Maye is just playing really decisive. You look at this route, the Titans had the lead early in this game, and Drake Maye, no flinch, came back, ended up 21 of 23, 222 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. And he got smacked on one of the plays, had to leave the game for a little bit, came back, finished out strong. I love what we're seeing out of Drake Maye right now. And right now, they're at the top of their division. And it looks like they're not afraid of anybody. So the Patriots are back. Vrabel's back. He went back to Tennessee where he got ditched and left for dead. And he put it on him. But I do see chat rolling a little bit. I'm seeing people saying Kamara's not going anywhere. Maybe Kamara will be a Chief. I think that Kamara, as far as a Chief goes, he would be such a Chief running back. He brings a dynamic that has a little Pacheco, has a little Hunt, and he's got more juice than both of them, in my opinion, still. And with how Andy Reid likes to use his running backs, I would not be shocked to see Kamara end up as a Chief, go on a little Super Bowl run. And right now I'm looking at the Chiefs like they should be a Super Bowl favorite at this point. I don't care what they did in the first few weeks of the season. Their defense is playing lights out. Their offense is just slinging it around. Rashee Rice is balling. He's back. The Chiefs are the team to beat. What do you know? The Chiefs are the team to beat. And I would not be shocked to see the Chiefs in the AFC Championship against the Patriots. Would not be shocked at all. See in chat as well, Ravens will get Crosby. I think Crosby's got to be on the move. The Raiders are in complete shambles. The Raiders, I don't know what they were thinking that Pete Carroll could come out of retirement and save them. Pete Carroll had a good run. He had a good stretch. But you're going to need more than Pete Carroll to go and save you. And I think he's like 80 years old at this point, right? Something like that. Like Pete Carroll's up there. And I love that he still has juice for the game and everything. But I do think you're seeing a wave of younger coaches with some creativity, some new perspective taking over the league right now, especially offensively, that's where it's at. You got to adapt, got to evolve, and the Raiders did not do that. Chat, you guys are rolling today, man. Thank you guys so much for being here. I love it. Russ to the Jags. The Colts need to get Trayvon Diggs from the Cowboys. Hey, I'm not going to lie to you guys. The Cowboys, I don't think are going to trade anybody. The Cowboys are kind of like that right now on the offensive side. They've been able to put points up against anybody. If their defense can just bolster up and stop a nosebleed, anything, they'll be all right. Maybe the Cowboys go get Max Crosby. Wouldn't that be a heck of a play? Get rid of Micah Parsons, realize you might need some help on defense, and go get Max Crosby, who I think Max Crosby's potentially top 2, top 3 DNs in the league. I like it. I like it a lot. Also, Henderson to the Colts. Colts I definitely could see being a buyer at the trade deadline. But we got to move on, guys. I could talk ball all day. I do talk ball all day, especially on Twitter, throwing out the tweets. But we've got a show to get to. We've got to keep it rolling. Also, coming up a little bit later in the show, we'll be using my Microsoft Surface with Copilot by Microsoft to break down some film for you guys, which will be electric. But we got to talk about the Eagles now. Eagles fans rejoicing. Absolutely rejoicing at Jalen Hurts slinging it downfield, slinging the pigskin, going absolutely insane. And they're finally letting him throw it downfield. I believe he ended the game with a perfect passer rating. Offensive line gave him a bunch of time. You got A.J. Brown, who's just complete man-child out there. Also, I want to throw a little shout-out. A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith with the highlighter color cleats. Is there something we don't know about getting Jalen Hurts' attention with the highlighter color cleats? I think there's going to be some story coming out that you heard it here first about these two receivers that want the ball more. Maybe they just throw a little highlighter on their uniforms to make sure that he can see them downfield, because I love it. And he knows which color's which. But Jalen Hurts, 326 passing yards, 19 of 23, 83% completion percentage, and 3 passing touchdowns. The Eagles looked back. Against the defense, by the way, the Vikings defense is for real. Like, they make plays. They're a tough scheme to play against. It wasn't like the run game was just eating it all over the field, but he was perfect yesterday in the win. The Eagles snapped the losing streak, and Hurts had his first 300+ yard passing game since the Saints in September of last year. And this is what I've been saying. This is what I've been saying about Jalen Hurts. He's been playing with handcuffs on. Like, I don't want to hear that. Like, I don't think Jalen Hurts is a top 5 quarterback in the league. I will say that. I've been there before, okay? But what I will say is Jalen Hurts is so capable. He can make any throw. He's got certain throws that he's better at than others. He's a vertical down the field passer, and he can throw stop routes, out routes, go balls. Like, that's where he thrives. And he can extend the pocket and get it downfield. The Eagles offense up until this point in the season, for the most part, has been handcuffing him, not even allowing him to do what he's good at. And they're not really opening up any rush lanes for Saquon Barkley right now. So, contrary to what they've been known for, running to set the pass up, the Eagles are going to have to pass to set the run up a little bit, which might be some uncharted waters for their offense coordinator, but you've seen it. He can do it, and he can do it pretty consistently. So let your boys spin it a little bit. That's all I want to see. I'm seeing chat, Jacoby to the Steelers. I like Jacoby to the Steelers. I don't hate that at all. Sorry, I got to make sure we're not on sleep mode here. I like Jacoby to the Steelers. The Steelers do need some juice, but the Steelers also need some over-the-top juice. So I don't know. We'll see. Steelers, man. So close, but where's that defense? My gosh, that defense didn't want to show up the other night against Joe Flacco in the unction. It's crazy. I'm seeing chat here, though. Kurt, what do the Bears need? What do the Bears need? The Bears could definitely use an elite edge rusher. They could use that. The Bears really just need to keep finding their footing, keep foot on the gas there. They're starting to figure out their identity. I'd love to see Colston Loveland get involved in the game plan a little bit. You want to take a tight end top 10? Took a tight end top 10. Didn't even take Tyler Warren, who was the best tight end in the draft. If you're going to take a tight end top 10, you got to use him. You'd think, maybe, I don't know. Who could Dallas trade for? I'm telling you guys right now, this might be a clip out. If I'm Jerry Jones, I am going to get Max Crosby. I'm going to trade the house for him, and I'm going to pay him what I should have paid Micah Parsons. And I'm going to go all of a sudden become a contender in the NFC because our offense, with George Pickens making plays downfield, that offense is elite. The same offense that put up 40 on the Packers in a tie. That offense can score points on anybody, and Dak Prescott's playing at an MVP level. So, Jerry Jones, go out in the market, go dangle those draft picks that you got from Micah Parsons and that money that you saved, and go get Max Crosby. That's all you got to do, and then all of a sudden you're a contender. But hey, what do I know? Producers, can you please send that to me after this so that we can clip that out and put it on socials? Thank you. But seeing the highlighter cleats are so their kids know who they are when they watch the games. Is that a fact? Did they say that? It's pretty cool, man. That is pretty cool. Man, what do the last one before we move on? Man, what do the Jets need to do? I'll tell you what the Jets need to do. They need to repent. The Jets need to repent because they have done a lot of wrong. And they've done a lot of smearing people's names. They've done a lot of embarrassing themselves. And I think they need to repent for what they've done. In something, some way, shape, or form, there's some sort of tomfoolery happening in the Jets franchise that is just leaving a curse over them. And I think they need to repent. So, Jets fans, I don't know what else to tell you, but you do not look good right now. I'll tell you that much. But let's get back to the other part because I know we've got to talk about the Giants. And I will say, we got Brody back there. Hi, Brody. The producer of this show, her name is Taya. She likes the Giants. And I'm really sorry about the Giants and what happened yesterday because they, for the first time in, I don't even know how many games, it's been over 1,000, 1,600 games that's ever happened. 14 minutes left, 19-0. And Bo Nix is going to play the game of his life. But what I want to say about this too, I mean, look at that. That's just living well. That is just super unfortunate. You have Jackson Dart who makes one of his few mistakes of the game, trying to make a play. As soon as he lets go of the ball, he feels it. He knows he made a mistake. And that gave them a chance too, but it still shouldn't even have got to that point. When you look at this Giants collapse, they just mismanaged the clock. I mean, if you are winning by that many points with that little time left, you could probably go 3 and out a couple times and milk the clock down all the way and just play bend but don't break defense, and they won't have enough time to win the game. I mean, you really got to think about that. But the Broncos, 33 fourth quarter points were the most points in the fourth quarter by any team that had been shut out in the 3 quarters prior in NFL history. And what does this say about Sean Payton and the Broncos? I'm going to tell you what this says. This is something very similar to what the tune that I've been humming about the Packers. Don't wait until the game is so tight late in the game to turn it on and cut your quarterbacks loose. Bo Nix has showed you what he can do when his back's against the wall. Don't put his back against the wall. Don't even let him get to that point. Air it out. Start slinging it. Play like you have nothing to lose from the beginning of the game. Because on paper, guys, the Broncos had the better team than the Giants. The Giants, if the Broncos just showed up the whole game, probably shouldn't have been in that game. We can talk about the Giants blowing it, whatever, but at the end of the day, too often in the NFL, do you see teams with elite rosters tiptoe their way into games, mosey on into halftime, come out a little faster in the third quarter, and then turn it on in the fourth quarter. We watched it with the Packers this week. We watched it with the Broncos this week. These dudes are paid a lot of money to play the positions they play. They are capable. Stop handcuffing your quarterbacks. Let them go eat early so you don't get yourself into these masterful cinematic games that don't even need to be this way. They had no business being that type of game. Same with the Packers and the Cardinals. I don't understand it, but hey, they're the coaches, not me. We're just talking ball. Should Dabble get fired? I don't think so, man. I don't think so. I think that if he had started Jackson Dart from the beginning of the season, they'd be right there in the hunt. If you don't have Russell Wilson just completely, give away 2 games for the most part. He did have a good game against the Cowboys, I believe it was the overtime game, but the Giants, man. There's something about that voodoo up there in New York, man. There's some repenting that needs to go on, something, I don't know. But between the Jets and the Giants, good Lord. But we've got to get to our next segment. How did this happen? And I see chat still rolling. I appreciate you guys. But we've got to talk about Jalen Hurts to Devonta Smith's 79-yard touchdown. Let's roll the tape. Going to get a play action drop back. Want to also note Saquon Barkley here, but it looked like it was going to be like a lean post, skinny to Devonta Smith, something that he does really well. Watch this. We're going to widen our stem, get him flipped around, turn around. Those flips of the hips, that's everything you need to get 3 yards of separation. And then the balance on contact to be able to lift your feet up and not get tackled at the 1 yard line. Love this. Devonta Smith, massive deep threat. Just need to get him more ops downfield. Just like A.J. Brown. And just too often the Eagles are one of those teams too that kind of tiptoe into games, want to, establish their identity on the ground, which fine if that's what you want to do. This is a passing league. And what you're seeing the Cowboys do right now is what I think more teams are capable of doing, but they're just not doing it. And I don't know why. Maybe it's because they want to play complementary football, or maybe I'm just biased because I'm a former quarterback and I like slinging the pigskin around. That's how I like to play. But you have a lot of really talented receivers, a lot of really talented pass catchers, quarterbacks that can toss the rock, and a league that favors the rules heavily for passing the ball downfield. I don't know. It feels weird. But I see chat rolling a little bit. The Broncos have the best comeback of all time. It's probably the best comeback of all time. Probably so, something like that. Who will the Giants get at wide receiver? I don't think the Giants are going to draft or are going to go at the trade deadline and get a receiver, but I will say there are some stud receivers in the draft right now coming out for this next year that I would not be shocked to see them take at all. And it depends on if they want to go first round, second round, or third round, but there's going to be some talent. And you're going to get Neighbors back from an ACL. You're going to get maybe a drafted guy to bolster things up with Jackson Dart. Because if you look at it, look at the Eagles formula. You need 2 stud receivers, a stud running back. The Giants will have a stud receiver coming back from an ACL. Scadaboo's a stud running back, in my opinion. Young stud. Get one more receiver. Get him another receiver. Olave to the Giants. I don't love that, to be honest. I could see Olave going to the Steelers maybe, but not the Giants this year. I don't think the Giants try to go all in this year. It's my opinion. But what do I know? The Colts are 6-1 and throttled the Chargers, but get no love. Hey, got a lot of love from me, big dog. We called the Colts. If you follow me on social media, we called the Colts even -2.5 the other day. Should have went crazier, and they were underdogs. So I will just throw that out there. We had a really good day in the predictions market of all of that stuff, but we do have more film to get to. Let's talk about this Aaron Rodgers touchdown play. Now we're getting into the action with our Microsoft Surface. Shout out to the NFL for making this happen, by the way, because incredible that we have access to this. Incredible that we get to draw in the plays, dial up film. But look at what we have here. Let me grab my little pen and drag this bad boy back. We're going to get to break down this crazy play that the Steelers had that could have been the go-ahead touchdown. Okay, this could have been the go-ahead touchdown to win the game if the Steelers defense had just shown up, but they didn't. They let Jamar Chase go down the field. But let's talk about Aaron Rodgers here. So defensively, they're just trying to stop them from getting into the end zone, right? Get a little 4-man rush here. But watch this. We got a 3-man slide over here. Running back's going to leak out, and we got 2-on-2 over here. We're going to get split right there. Free to the quarterback, and we're going to get a looper. That's 2. Watch old man Rodgers, former teammate of mine with the Packers, how easily he navigates it subtly. And this is post-Achilles Aaron Rodgers. And Achilles injuries, I think he came back not too soon, maybe too soon. But he looks more like himself this year than he did last year. We know that Achilles, ACL, all of that, it's really year 2 post-recovery that you become a little bit more like you were before. But look at this. Quick flip of the hips, dips his shoulder, able to keep his eyes downfield. And that's just like navigating pressure, rips an absolute seed. You kidding me? Look at this. Bang, bang. Absolute seed. One more time for good measure. Look at this play, man. Just so close. Big dog tight end is going to do the rest. But this is like Aaron Rodgers is still playing at a high level. Taking care of the football for the most part. He had 1 interception in that game that was uncharacteristic of himself. The other one was a dime that got ripped out of DK Metcalf's hand. So if you really, in my mind, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception, played incredibly well, spread the ball around. But on the flip side, this Steelers defense wasn't as advertised. You let old man Joe Flacco throw for 342. You let Jamar Chase get 16 receptions on you, 161 yards and a touchdown. I mean, this one's on the Steelers defense. Aaron Rodgers has shown up almost every single game this year to be exactly who you need him to be. Now, the Steelers, if they're going to make a playoff push and win this division, need to get the steel curtain back and dial it back up, because what we're seeing on tape and what we're seeing on film with our Microsoft Surface, by the way, official AI Insights partner of Bleacher Report Gridiron, is that the Steelers are built for it offensively, even though their offense is weird. And they're looking to add some receiver depth. They're looking to add some speed on the receiver side, but they're playing a formula of football and offense that can win them games down the stretch, especially in December and January football. It's their defense. And Watt just got paid, man. Like, he has got to find a way to bring more juice, to wreak havoc in these games a little bit more like he had in the past for them to get over the hump. They need their defense to be the steel curtain. They need the defense to show up. They need the defense to be the identity of the football team, because right now, some way, somehow, 40-plus-year-old Aaron Rodgers is the identity of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And that's not where they want to live. They need the defense to come back, be the steel curtain, and show up and win them games. Now, the show is almost over, but I will answer a few more chat questions. If you guys also have more questions, feel free to @me on Twitter. Love talking ball with you guys. Love making videos about all this stuff. And I just love football. I do. I really do, especially in this capacity. Seeing Breece Hall's talents being wasted on the Jets. Bingo, Yahtzee, yes. Would love to see Breece Hall dealt to a different team at the trade deadline. He would probably love to go to a new team with an offensive line that can open up holes and maybe being used in the pass game. We know he's capable. Let's see, where will Andrews go? Well, we did do a little bit of an earlier segment on Mark Andrews, and I will say that I could see him going to the Bucks, the Chargers, or the Patriots. The Bucks being my number one. I think that he would help their offense, especially with their lack of depth. Packers need a DB so bad. Yeah, the Packers, man. It was tough. The Packers could use a number one DB. That is a fact. I think that Sauce Gardner would be incredible there, to be honest. I think in how they play defense, I would actually love to see Sauce Gardner to the Packers. I don't know if they'd be able to pull it off, but I think he'd be a better player with the Packers than he is for the Jets. And then a college game day kicker to the Giants. We're going to end the show with that one. The New York Giants need Pat McAfee's college game day kicker to go so they don't lose games like they just did. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me in this show. We do it every Monday, same time, same place for the most part. I'll be catching you guys next week. We also have a trade deadline show coming up at the trade deadline. I think it's a couple Tuesdays from now, but I'm Kurt Benkert. This is Monday Morning Quarterback, and I will see you guys next time.